today, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules on a Sunday to come and join us virtually. So I have the very challenging task of sharing the basics of the Buddhist practice with you all because we don't have all day. So I'm basically going to provide a very high-level overview of Nichiren Buddhism today and what we practice. And if there's like one thing I really hope you can take away from this is that, really understanding that each and every one of us has the ability to become fundamentally happy in this lifetime and also bring forth our limitless courage, wisdom, compassion, potential, all of the good stuff, and change anything in our lives for the better. And also, just really quickly, if I missed anything, Shrushi will help me out. So let's just get started. So the first point I'd like to cover is the Soka Gakkai, or SGI, is what we call it for short, is an organization with volunteer Buddhist leaders. None of us are paid here. We all just practice Nichiren Buddhism in over 192 countries worldwide. And fun fact, actually, I looked it up yesterday, there's actually only 195 official countries in the world. So that's quite outstanding. We make up 192. And personally, just so you know, I've been fortunate to practice in Hong Kong, South Korea, Denmark, Spain, Cuba, Japan, Costa Rica, and more. So the second point is that, Nichiren Daishonin was a 13th century monk who studied all of Siddhartha or Shakyamuni's sutras and chose the Lotus Sutra, one of the final ones, as the supreme teaching. And just so you know, we call Shakyamuni is the same person as Siddhartha. It's just we call him Shakyamuni in Japan in general. Okay. So this Lotus Sutra taught that all people, regardless of their gender, socioeconomic background, race, ethnicity, age, anything, could become happy in this lifetime. So it's very, very different from the previous sutras. Nichiren Daishonin also emphasized that all people, without exception, possess a Buddha nature and are inherently worthy of respect, which is something so important for us at this moment in this society right now. So it's really critical for us to fundamentally believe and recognize our own inherent value as human beings as well. And also then we can, understand and respect other people for their own Buddha nature as well. And so it was and still is a very revolutionary teaching that is obviously very open-minded and ahead of its time, and also embraces diversity and inclusion. And then, so next, third point, we're going to fast forward to the 20th century, because Nichiren Daishonin was 13th century, when the first president, Makiguchi, and his disciple Toda created a Buddhist organization based on Nichiren Daishonin's teachings. Toda sensei then taught everything he knew to President Ikeda, who expanded the practice with the help of many pioneer members to 192 countries, as I mentioned earlier. So the other really important point, fourth point, is that the president of the Soka Gakkai, Daisaku Ikeda, serves as a really great example of actualizing the limitless potential that exists within each person's life. He has dedicated his life to spreading a message of peace based on the dignity of human life through countless meetings with world figures such as Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, Mikhail Gorbachev, and so many other people. He's also received honorary doctorates from over 300 universities around the world. So he's very accomplished. And his philosophy of peace can be summed up as when we change, the world changes. The key to all change is our inner transformation, a change of our hearts and minds. And this is human revolution. So thanks to the incredible work of all these predecessors, we are now practicing Buddhism on a daily basis in our own homes and virtually, and in the past in the homes of other members. So now the fifth point is that there are actually 3 pillars to our practice, which is sometimes compared to like a 3-legged stool. And you need all 3 pillars for it to be a stable foundation. And in the same manner, we believe that faith, practice, and study are the essential components of our Buddhist practice. So first is faith. And faith is really the fundamental belief in the power of Nam-myoho-renge-kyo and our inherent Buddha nature, a state of life characterized by, again, this limitless courage, wisdom, compassion, and all of that good stuff. And then second is practice. And this means chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo on a daily basis. Simply put, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo is also the name of this potential or Buddha nature within our life. And to chant Nam-myoho-renge-kyo then is to call forth our Buddha nature. So Nam-myoho-renge-kyo really is a declaration of the inherent dignity and power within the lives of all people. And finally, practice also means that you're not just practicing for yourself, but you're also practicing for others. So just by attending this meeting, for example, you've already made a really positive cause for your life. And third is study. So faith, practice, and study. And study is really critical so that we stay strong in our faith. We can encourage other members and grow as individuals. We get monthly Living Buddhism sent to our house. We can also get like World Tribunes every single week that help us like to stay on top of our faith and really be able to study well. So next, on to the sixth point. I can't really show it to you today, but we have a scroll that we chant to, which is called the Gohonzon, and it actually states Nam-myoho-renge-kyo down the center. And if you want to know what everything stands for, you can find it on the SGI website in detail. So it'll tell you everything that you can possibly know if you're really interested in all of that. But just to note really quickly that, the Gohonzon that we chant to, it's a scroll, but it's actually not meant to be outside of ourselves. It is physically outside of ourselves, but it actually serves as a reflection of our own lives. And by chanting to the Gohonzon on a daily basis, we can really enrich our lives and bring out the best of everything that we have within our lives and really overcome anything that we face. So now I'm going to quickly end with why I've practiced for so long. I was born into this practice, but I actually have experienced more health problems than the average 31-year-old. I would venture to say that I'm even in the top 10%. But needless to say, through these really intense challenges, I've had to rely entirely on chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo to make positive long-term changes in my life. And so, for example, at 14, I had very severe chronic asthma attacks for about 2 years. And I was in such intense, excruciating pain and suffering that I didn't even have the energy to smile or even walk. Because, you wouldn't know this, but smiling actually does take up a lot of oxygen and energy. I just didn't have that energy to do that. So I broke through this by chanting, even at the age of 14, 7 hours a day. It's not about the quantity you chant, but really about the quality. And I had nothing to do. I was so sick. I just, basically, that's all I could do. So I just chanted a lot. And I think my turning point for me was becoming really grateful for the fact that I was even alive. And really appreciating that I was able to breathe even if it was only a tiny, tiny bit. I also, made a really strong vow at that point in my life to make a positive contribution to society. So by the age of 21, I actually ended up running a full marathon in addition to a dozen half marathons, something that, looking at, when I was at 14, I just never could have imagined because I was I could barely walk, I had trouble eating, I couldn't smile, just a lot of basic things weren't working. So finally, I'll wrap up with a quote from the World Tribune, which is our Buddhist newsletter that we get every week. And this one's from February 12th. And in it, Lee Malone states that, our mentors from Nichiren Daishonin to Ikeda Sensei left the blueprint for us to achieve happiness as individuals and to create a peaceful society. When you base your life on chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo and the oneness of mentor and disciple, you are guaranteed to surmount any hardship and live the most fulfilling life. So thank you guys so much for listening to that long explanation. And if I missed anything, please, Steve, feel free to share anything else. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. So next we have excerpt of a special message reading for the women's meeting from Mrs. Kaneko Ikeda, SGI Honorary Women's Leader, read by Sally Soleil.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a really long article or message. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Here we go. 2021